You're welcome to the other session of the um, class today, the cybersecurity. So we have Mr. Amos here to take us through security misconfigurations. Mr. Amos, are you here, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Amos.
Oh, all right, that's good. Thank you very much. We'll be looking briefly at the security aspect of this section we're having this afternoon, which has to do with the category 5 of the OWASP top 10. I will be sharing my screen. Please, once you're able to see my screen, let me know. Can we see my screen?
You're still coming up, Mr. Amos. Okay, yes, we can see your
Okay.
screen.
All right. Thank you very much. So today, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be looking at the OWASP top 10, the category 5, which is security misconfiguration. This aspect of the OWASP top 10, it's a serious aspect of vulnerability that cannot be ignored. It's so important that when the OWASP top 10 was reviewed, this category has to be moved from category 6 to 5, looking at the impact that can result from misconfiguration or when uh, security configuration is not properly done. So today we will be looking at some aspect of this security misconfiguration. We'll be looking at the misconfiguration itself. We'll look briefly at the definition, importance of secure configuration. We also look at some real world examples. Is it just something on book, or is it something that is actually happening and impacting a lot of organization? Then we also look at common security misconfiguration as they are listed here below. We'll be running through them very briefly. Then we also look at the impact of security misconfiguration. When security configuration are not properly done, what are the impacts? What is the result that we arise from that? Then moving away from that, we're going to be looking at prevention and best practices, how we can mitigate this, what we can do to ensure that we are not a victim of what security misconfiguration can result to, either as an individual or in an organization. Once again, I welcome you to this training, and we'll be looking at the security misconfiguration as I've said earlier, and part of what we'll be learning, the things I've mentioned earlier. They will be doing little of the hands-on using the SAP application. And before that, I'm going to walk us through the process of installing the application, what the application is, and I'm going to show us through some features on that application. It's a tool that is in the same category as the Bob Suite. It's a security tool used in carrying out penetration testing, testing for all forms of security features to help prevent against vulnerability. Now, the scope of this training is in line with the content we have mentioned earlier. So I'm not going to be dwelling on that because of our time, so that we can finish in good time. Now, what is security misconfiguration? Just as the name implies, it means when a configuration is carried out the wrong way, or when we are supposed to put some security measures in place at the level of configuration and they are not properly done or ignored. So security misconfiguration occurs when systems, application or network components are improperly configured, leaving them vulnerable to attack. Without a concerted, repetitive application security configuration process, systems are at a higher risk. So security misconfiguration is not what, when possibly we feel we have handled it, we sit back. It's something that must be regularly visited to ensure that there is no any form of vulnerability. The measures, the control we put in place, are they still active? We need to run checks to know that those protections are still potent enough to guide against risk that can actually arise from security misconfiguration. Now, what is the importance of security uh, configuration? Now, apart from these ones that are listed, I want you to, now the first, before that, we have a prevention of unauthorized access to sensitive data. We know that the world today is being ruled by data. Everything that is happening in our world today with the digital age revolves around data, and data are classified in different categories. We have the sensitive data that if such data has been left out, either an organizational data or data belonging to the government or individual data, they can leave behind a very serious or a grave impact, a negative impact. So to prevent against unauthorized access of sensitive data is one of the importance why we must take serious security misconfiguration and ensure that our configuration are intact. Now it reduces the attack surface. For an attack to take place, there must be a loophole, there must be some vulnerabilities, there must be an aspect that is not well guarded. That is when an attack can be possible. But when we have actually put in place the necessary defense mechanism, ensuring that we have the right security configuration, we will be able to guide against this. Then apart from that, it is of paramount importance that we comply with security best practices, especially for organizations. People will trust us with different kind of data, and the safety and the security of that data is shadowed on the organization. So based on that, the organization must put in place every possible means and measures to ensure that security best practices is put in place to guide against any possible attack that can arise from not adhering to the best practices. Now, apart from those ones that are listed here, I want you to quickly go to the chat room and list one or two other importance of secure configuration. What other importance, apart from these three that are highlighted, can you quickly go to the chat room and just drop something there? Please, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me? Is anyone there? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Amos. I'm sure everybody is listening and we are.
Please, if you can hear me, can you respond?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Amos.
All right, beautiful. So please, can you just quickly drop on the chat one importance or two why we must do the right configuration, apart from the three I have highlighted. I'm waiting for a response. What are those other important aspects apart from the three I've mentioned? Can we quickly drop that in the chat room? All right. Thank you. To enhance stability and performance. Thank you very much. I can't see the name of the person. I can just see user. That's a beautiful one. To enhance stability and performance. Thank you very much. To ensure optimal performance of the system or application. Yes, if the security is being disrupted and unauthorized persons have access, there won't be an optimal performance. There's going to be an instability as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So moving away from that, I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, Mr.
All
Amos.
right. Thank you very much. Now, looking at the real world examples, we have the Equifax data breach, which occurred in the year 2017. It was as a result of misconfigured Apache Stroud, which led to the exposure of 147 million records. Now, can we quickly go to Google and put in this very briefly? And I want you to just get the link, maybe post it on the chat, and tell me one other thing also that's resulted from this data breach. It's occurred in 2017, and the impact was massive to the tune of having 147 million records exposed. Yes, if you go to Google, you'll be seeing some information that were exposed in these records. Can you just drop one of those information and how sensitive they are on the chat room? Yes, what are those information that were exposed in this data breach? Yes, good tidings. Thank you. I can see your response as well. Reduce vulnerability. So can we quickly look at that fact to see the impact of what a careless configuration has cost a reputable organization that made them lose this much of their records. Yes, I'm still looking through the chat room. All right, because of our time, part of the information contained in the record, people's phone numbers, their email addresses, their social security number, and lots of information that can lead to those who have accessed the information to gain more access to their accounts and other valuable information owned by these customers. Now imagine what the organization will go through in terms of paying compensation. If you go through the internet, you're going to see that as well, how they had to compensate all those customers that were affected in this uh, breach that resulted from security misconfiguration. So it's a very, very serious thing that we must not look away from. Then we also have the Capital One breach. This also happened in the year 2019. It was as a result of a misconfigured firewall. Now it's now allowed the SSRF exploitation. That is the server-side request forgery. So that led to such serious uh, exploitation in that organization. So very, very briefly, there is another one that I have not included here, but so far it is recorded as the biggest so far, the biggest breach that has happened so far. I want someone to quickly drop the name of the organization on the chat. Please go to Google and type the biggest breach so far of all time that has occurred. Can you quickly go to Google and get that information? I want us to see the implication, the magnitude of failing to apply the right configuration on our application, either the web-based, yes, driver, yes, good, driver's license number, yes, very good. Yes, that was part of the record that was let out in the Equifax data breach. Now, there's a popular organization. They are also into mailing. They are also into search engine and the like. They have recorded a breach resulting to 3 billion users on their platform being affected. Can we quickly search that out in Google? I just want you to participate. If you're putting in the right name, I will confirm that. 3 billion records were accessed by unauthorized individual. And so far, that serves as the largest. So far, no any other has been able to beat that record. Can someone drop that organization name on the chat room? I mean, in the chat room, rather. Please, can you hear me? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can, Mr. Amos.
All right, please, I want you to quickly go to Google and type Yahoo data breach to save our time. Yahoo data breach, and tell me the figure, confirm the figure of records that were accessed. Yahoo data breach, that's another real world example, and so far the largest so far that has ever happened in record. Thank you very much. Yes, about 3 billion records were exposed, and I don't think that will cause them any little consequence. It's a big deal, and that was estimated to be about the entire record that was on their platform. So it means their security failed woefully, and access was gained to this massive number of records of individual lying in their domain. So it's a serious one, and so far No record has been able to beat this. So moving away from that, then we'll be looking at the common misconfiguration, and I'll also walk us through the demonstration. Before then, we'll be looking at the ZAP application. I'm going to be dropping a link on the chat for those who don't have this application. I'm going to quickly guide you through the process of installation. Please, if you're able to see it, just give me a thumbs up. If you've been able to see that, please give me a thumbs up. Can we see the link? Can we see the link? Please, can we see the link? If you can see the link, just give me a thumbs up. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. There's a reply in the chat from sir.
Please, can you see the link? Yes, national public data. Yes, that's another one. All right, thank you. Please click on this link. It will take you to the official page where you can download the ZAP application. Then upon downloading this application, if you don't have the Java runtime environment on your system, it's going to request for this. I'm going to drop a link which can help you have access to that as well. If you're trying to install it, it might ask for this. So I'm going to drop the link on the chat room as well. It will be needed after installing this. All right. So I'm going to quickly walk us through the process. Then another thing we're going to be needing as well is this. I'm going to drop it in the chat room as well. We'll be needing the adoptium, which is more like going to help us in case if the application is not seeing the Java, it will help us do the configuration to ensure that the ZAP application sees the Java runtime environment to ensure the complete installation. I'm going to drop that also on the chat room for us. So if you have clicked on the application and it is running, I want you to give me a thumbs up. If you have clicked on it, it's downloading. All right, just give me a few minutes. The system is a bit freezy to get the other link. All right, I'm going to type it out instead to save time. Please, if you can see that, just give me a thumbs up. We'll be needing all of this to get the ZAP running on our system. So when you get to this site, we are going to see, all right, for the sake of demonstration, I already have it on my system. I'm just going to click on it and share the screen just to guide us through the process, but I will not be installing it again because I already have it on my system. Please, can you see my screen?
We can only see your presentation, Mr. Amos. We can't see the browser.
Can you see my screen, please?
No, we
Please
can't
let
see
me
your
know
screen.
if you can see my
Cannot,
screen.
cannot see your screen,
Oh,
sir.
okay. All right, just give me a few minutes. Let me bring it up again. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen now.
All right, thank you. So upon clicking on the link I drop on the chat room, it's going to take us to this place. Then when you click on the download button, it's going to take us to this page. So please look out for the type of machine you are using and also put in consideration the is it Windows, is it Mac, is it Linux, what bit is it running on? Is it running on the 64 bit or on the 32 bit? So based on that, you choose the one to download. For my own, I use the 64 bit based on the OS that my machine is running on. But because I've installed it, I will not be clicking on the installation again. Upon clicking on the installation, once the download is complete, you locate the file or you double click on the download and the installation will begin. So upon completing the installation, once you try to launch it, when you are running, it will get to a point it will be requesting for a Java runtime environment. Now, for this version of ZAP 2.16.1, it's going to be requesting for the runtime environment 17 and above. So I've also dropped a link which will take us to that site where that can be downloaded. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to quickly click on that as well, which will take us to the environment where that will be downloaded. Now, if we click on this, please let me know if you can see my screen. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen, sir.
All right. So once it takes us to this place, we are going to look through putting in consideration what we did earlier also in the OWASP website, the type of machine and the operating system it's running on. So based on that, we are going to choose the right one to download. I went for the 64-bit based on the type of machine that I am using and the operating system running on the machine. So moving away from this, the third one, the third site that we must visit, because at times it might work with just having the Java runtime environment installed on our system, and at times it might not work with it. So we might need to go a further step to visit the site. We might also go another step to visit this site, which I'm going to be sharing with us shortly. It is loading. Please let me know if you can see my screen. All right, the screen should be up now. Can you see my screen? Yes, so upon getting to this place, you click on the latest TLS release. And upon clicking on this, the download will begin. I've clicked on it and I'm going to get this feedback. Thank you for downloading. I am going to cancel the download because I already have this on my system running. So we need this when we install the ZAP application and it's unable to automatically locate the Java runtime. Then upon installing this application, it's going to take us to the custom aspect of the installation where we can select the Java runtime to run on the drive of our machine. And with that, after completing the installation, we now go back to the ZAP application, click on it to run again, and upon running, we will be able to install the ZAP application. So I'm going to quickly run us through the aspects we'll be able to cover in this class because our time is fast spent. I'm going to quickly run us through some aspects of this application. Now I'm going to be sharing my screen for you to see the ZAP application. We might not be able to cover a whole lot on this, but I'm going to run us through some little basics on this. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah, a few minutes is going to come up. Yes. Please, if you can see my screen, I just want to get a feedback to be sure you are moving along with me. All right. Thank you, Shenna. All right. And I believe every other person on this call can as well see my screen. So this is the ZAP application. Now I'm going to walk us through.
Sorry, Mr. Amos, you can't see your screen.
Oh, you can't see my screen.
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to share it again. How about now?
yes, we can see your screen now.
All right, beautiful. Now, the Zap application gives us option just like the Bob Suite to use an inbuilt browser to target or explore a URL. Now, it also have this option. Now, if you look at this, you can see we have this option of Chrome and Firefox. They are pre-installed on the application. We can actually use them. They are inbuilt just like the one we have in the Bob Suite. However, it also gives us an opportunity to crawl our external browser to ensure that we can externally send a URL and the information will be captured or will be seen in the history, that is in the history tab of the Zap application. So I'm going to walk us through the process. Now, I want to know if there are some people who will be working along with me through this process. How many of us can you just wave on the chat room if you were able to download or if you already have this application running on your system so that we can have a kind of hands-on. Yeah, I just want you to raise your hand if you have the application running on your system or if you're able to install it or if you have question or how to install it or you're trying to install it, you're facing some challenges. All right, I can see someone saying no. Oh, you cannot see my screen. How many of us can see my screen?
No, that message came in before your screen, before I complained. So now your screen is visible, Mr.
Oh, my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. So, someone, okay, user says no, the application is not yet running on your system. All right. Okay, based on this, I'm just going to run us through some few aspects of it. I would have loved if we were able to install it to make it more participatory. However, I'm just going to run us through the introductory aspect of it. And if there are any other opportunity to have a section again, I will be running us through the other aspects mentioned in the slide. So now let's go back to a Zap application. So like I was saying the other time, we can either work using this inbuilt browser or we can crawl our browser using this button here where uh, my cursor is rolling. How many of us can see my cursor where we have the Mozilla Firefox uh, button? And also we can go to tools. I want us to note that down. We can go to tools, then from tools we'll go to options. I hope we can still see my screen. I am now on the option tabs. So we go to the option. Oh, it's running, right? That's beautiful. User said it's running now on a system. That's fine. All right, please, I want to know if you are following along with me. So are you on options? So from the options, we scroll down to our network. All right, let me go back. I think I'm a bit fast. Let me go back again. I'm going to repeat the process again. So you go to tools, from tools you go to options, from option you go to network, to the network tab. This is the network tab. I've visited it before, that's why it's like this. So okay, so you go to the network tab. So when you get to the network tab, you scroll down to the local server stroke proxies. So when you get to the local server stroke proxy, you are going to see the proxy address, which is local server. The local server is the same thing as 127.0.0.1, and the port number is 8080. Please, before I move forward or before I proceed, I want to know if we are following. If we are following, please, I just want to get your feedback on the chat room. Yes, can I have a feedback? Can I get a feedback, please? All right. Now, from this place, we'll be able to see the information that we will be configuring on our external browser. Now, there's one more thing we need to capture here. Now, if we move down to this place, we are going to see server certificates. So upon clicking on the server certificate, we are going to see the option to save. I have saved this earlier on my device, so I won't be clicking on the save button again, but you can click on save and save it in the location that you can easily access. So after doing this, you can click on the cancel button and then go on to your browser. Now I'm going to add on to my browser. I'm going to stop sharing this briefly so I can show you where to achieve this on your browser. Now I'm going to be using the Mozilla Firefox. I'm going to be walking us through the Mozilla Firefox. Yes, I'm sharing the screen of the Mozilla Firefox. If you can see my screen, please let me know. Please, can you see my screen? Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So now on this Mozilla Firefox, I will go to my settings. So when I get to my settings, I don't want to stress myself with the step-by-step locating where the proxy is. I can just go ahead and type proxy on this search box, which will take me to this place. We can see the place highlighted in yellow, advanced, then you just click on it. Upon clicking on it, we are going to see, all right, so 1 minute, please. Proxy. Yes, it's going to take us the setting. So this will take us to our proxy. Originally, your proxy could either be on use the proxy system, but I've actually worked on this. I hope my screen is still very visible. All right. Now, when you now get to this place, you will see that the information we saw on the ZAP application is what I've already imputed here. Local host, then 8080. You can as well put 127.0.0.1, which is the same thing as this, and the port remains 8080. So after doing that, you click OK to save. Then move on to the certificate. You can also do the same thing by typing cert here, and it will take you to the certificate page. And all you need to do is to click the import button. Then you go to the location where you have saved your certificate. I saved my on the document and I've uploaded it already. So I won't be uploading it again, but just to let us see it. So on, okay, I think it should be on the desktop. So I'm going to search for its certificate. All right, that is it here. So all I just need to do is to click on this certificate and click on the button open, and that will import it to the Mozilla Firefox. And after that, I'm going to click OK. But I already have the certificate here. I've gotten that done here, and that's what we can see here on my Mozilla Firefox certificate manager. So after importing it, all you need to do is to click OK. And after clicking OK, you are good to go. Then you can now go to your Mozilla Firefox without wasting any further time, looking at some web pages that we can actually carry out our testing with. Now, I must also remind us that we cannot use any website at random. For any site to be run on any of these testing or security tools, it must be with a permission from the owner of the site. However, some sites have been made available for us to use for testing. There are some sites that are originally created for testing. I'm going to be sharing the screen with us, or better still, I'm going to paste some of those sites on the chat room for us to see. It is important that we use the right site that has been assigned for testing. So I'm going to be dropping this list of sites on the chat room for us, and these are the sites we can actually use for testing. So I'm going to be using one of these sites to actually run us through some few processes on the application. Just a minute, I'm going to be. All right, I want to be sure if you can still see my screen. Now, this is the Mozilla Firefox. I'm going to stop sharing it for a while just to show us something on the Zap application. Now, on the Zap application, we can see. Yes, I'm going to share that right away. On the Zap application, we can see that there is no any site or URL that has been explored so far. If we look at the history, we can see that everything is empty. And now I want to explore a site without using the one, the provision that has been made on the application. I want to use the external browser, which is the Firefox. So I'm going to stop sharing this and go back to the Firefox. Now, this is our Firefox application, which you're going to see on the screen very shortly. This is our Firefox application. Please let me know if my screen is coming up. Please let me know if my screen is coming up. All right. Thank you, Mr. Richard. All right. So now on the Firefox, I've picked one of the URL that I dropped in the shout room, and I'm going to search this URL, which is www.itsecgames.com. So I'm going to click the enter button to load this. Now, upon loading this URL, I will go back to my Zap application. All right, I'm going to share my entire screen so that I don't have to be moving from one this thing to the other. So now, please, can you see my Zap application? If you can see the Zap application, please let me know. All right, thank you. Thank you. So now on the Zap application, we are going to see that on the history, okay, it's not yet populating. All right, let me go back to the Mozilla again and refresh the page. Yes. Now on the Zap application, go to the history. On the history, you are going to see under the URL that I queried on the Mozilla Firefox is appearing here, giving us some information about the site. We can see the timestamp, we can see the method, we can see the URL. We can also see the code 200, which represents a success. We can see some whole lots of information appearing here. Now, upon getting this, we can actually carry out one or two things from this site that we have actually queried on the Mozilla Firefox. Now I'm going to be running us through some process very briefly. Now I'm going to run through some parts of the application, and I'm running through them. The information will be captured right on the Zap application, showing every move I have taken, so we can see that we've gotten some other requests that were captured here. The information is being populated right here under the history. Then if we come up here, we're going to see the site. Then on the site, we can get some whole lots of information Through here also we can actually perform some other operation like the spider and the rest. But before going into that, now this particular aspect of it is actually carrying out a passive scan, of which if we go to the alert section, it's going to be listing out some vulnerability discovered on this particular URL. Now, if we look at this, we are going to see the first one on the alert. If we double click it, it's going to pop up some information giving us the URL, the severity of the risk, which is medium, and all of that. We are going to see the CWE ID. Then we are going to see the description of the risk or the vulnerability that is discovered, which is content security. CSP is an added layer of security that helps to detect and mitigate certain attacks, certain types of attack, including cross-site. Is going to give us a whole lot of description about that particular uh, alert that has been received. Then it's going to also give us a solution on how to mitigate this. Now, if we look under the solution section, we are going to see that we should ensure that the web server, application server, and load balancer, etc., is configured to set the content security policy header. So upon getting this information, if we pass it to the backend, to the developers, they will actually know the right aspect of the application that needs to be revisited to mitigate against this risk. Please, may I know if we are following? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Amos.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. So we can actually view them on and on and on. This has to do with application error disclosure, which is part of what I have on the slide that we are to cover. Now, if we click on this, if we double click on this, it's going to also give us information on this. You have an error in your SQL syntax. That's the evidence of this vulnerability. Then it's going to also give us the description, which we can see here below, telling us about the description of the vulnerability that was found. Then the solution, which is to review the source code of the page. Page, implement custom error pages. Consider implementing a mechanism to provide a unique error reference stroke identifier to the client browser. So we are going to see a whole lot of information here that is going to help us after discovering this to actually mitigate against these misconfiguration errors. Then we also have the missing anti-click jack headers. We will not be able to touch all of this because of our time. If we look at it, we have a whole lot of them. We also have insufficient site isolation against SEPTA vulnerability. Then we also have a whole lot of them listed here under the alert section. So upon clicking on the alert section, we'll get this information. Now, the history gives us every aspect that we have actually visited on this site. Now, we may want to scan the entire URL in a particular site without doing it one after the other manually. Now, for us to achieve this, I'm going to end this section of the ZAP application so that I have a new section. Then I'm going to be using one of those sites as well. So I'm going to be using one of the sites that I have dropped on our chat room. I'm going to quickly use this. So I'm going to visit this on my Mozilla Firefox. Oh, sorry, I have to copy that again. Have to copy that again. All right, so I'm going to head on to this site. All right, the site is up. So I'm going to go look at it here. Now we can see it has been captured under the history. So now I want to view the entire URL that we have on this site. So I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to go to our attack. Then from the attack, I'm going to use the spider. Now this will scan through all the URL that are in this particular website. And after that, the report can be generated to analyze the vulnerability contained in the entire website, of which report can also be printed. The solution, as we have seen in the other one we did earlier, also will be stated. So now I have this. Now I'm going to click on Start Scan. Now we can see the scan has begun, and we can see the progress bar is still on 4%. We can see the pause button. We can pause the scan, and we can as well end it if we don't want the scan to run through to the end. Then the number of URL found is also stated here. The notes added, and all the information are being listed. So this is going to give us the entire scan that pertains to all the URL that are contained on this website. All right, this is going to take a whole lot of time, so I'm going to be pausing the scanning so that we can just look at some things before we round up. So I'm going to stop sharing my entire screen. I'm going to just share the screen of the ZAP application for us to see the things I'll be doing. Please let me know in the chat room if you can still see my screen. You can still see my screen in the chat room. Please let me know. All right. Thank you very much. Yes, so I will have to pause this. So I'm going to pause the scanning. The scanning has been paused. Now the site so far has scanned a lot of information up here that we can see. So we can also see some folders here that has to do with the pages of the pages on the site. We can also see some that has to do with the user and a whole lot of them. Now let's quickly go to the alerts. Now if we go to the alert, we are going to be seeing, yes, just like some of the information we have seen before on the alert. Then we can also look through the spider result carefully wherever we see information under the method that has to do with posts. If we look carefully at it, it's going to be having some information that might likely have to do with the login, which we can also check to see if there is any vulnerability in that aspect. Yes, just a moment. So very briefly, I'm just going to walk us through some other things that we could actually achieve with this app as I round up because of the time. And subsequently, when we have this opportunity again, we are going to be looking at some of these other aspects, how we can actually check for unnecessary features that are enabled, which we can also do through the spider that I walk us through the other time. And after that, we can look through the results and see areas that are exposing directories in the analysis we've gotten from the responses. So we'll be able to see and detect misconfiguration in that aspect as well. Then very quickly also expose bug information through the spider and explore. We'll also be able to also see how to trigger to manually craft requests to trigger error and see if that error will be giving us some information that will serve as vulnerability for us to get more information and launch an attack on the site. Then also we have the unrestricted admin panel. This we can also achieve through the ZAP Spider application. When we go to the map, we'll be able to look through to see and identify the protected resources and areas like admin panel, which possibly could be hijacked if it is not well protected. And we know the implication of that. If I already have an access to the admin panel of a particular site or an application, I can do whatever I want with that particular site. And very briefly, we also have the part of the misconfiguration that usually occur. We have the lack of content security policy. We saw that in some of the examples I've showed us in the ZAP application where we're able to analyze some responses that shows that the site wasn't having the right content security policy, which will definitely expose it to vulnerability. Then also we have outdated and unpatched vulnerabilities, which most vulnerability results from that, like that of the Equifax was as a result of the Apache server. So when some of these server and their software that runs on them are not updated, the security patches that comes with them, when they are not up to date, because how these things work, when there is a virus or an attack, there is also a counter signature that will counter such attack or virus attack. So by the time the patch are not updated, when such attacks are launched, it can easily target at the server or whichever part of the system or the application which we now give rise to an attack to the system. Then we have also seen from the little examples I showed us, this passive scanning, which we did through Firefox instead of the main browser. Then before we go, I will also do one or two. I'm just going to do one through the main inbuilt browser on the Zap application for us to see how it works if we don't want to actually use the external browser. Then we also have impacts of security misconfiguration. What happens when there is security misconfiguration? Just like we mentioned earlier, is going to increase the attack surface, unauthorized access to data, service disruption, and exploitation. Now, when Yahoo information was stolen or the Equifax, I know for some period of time is going to disrupt some aspect of their service. is going to lead to some kind of uh, stoppage in the process of their day-to-day running. So that's one of the serious impacts that this can leave the application or the organization with. Then, what are the prevention or best practices? Apart from the ones we have seen on the application, it is important that we change default credentials. We use default credentials at times because we feel we don't want to forget our password. We use admin, we use root, we use test 123, and all of those default passwords can be a means of vulnerability. Then we also need to implement least privilege principle to restrict users to area that they need to get access to. Then we also need to disable unnecessary services. Every service that comes with an application or with a software that are not in use should be disabled. Ports that are not in use should be closed. Then regular security audit also needs to be conducted, like pen testing and vulnerability testing and all of that needs to be done from time to time. Then automated security configuration tools like OWASP that we are using and CIS benchmark needs to be put in place to from time to time to check the status of security on our systems and application. Now, what are the takeaways from this section? We must take serious security configuration because it's a critical vulnerability that can cripple a system, application, or even an organization. If it is not well taken care of, there could be an exploitation as a result of that. Then we also have regular security audits to prevent misconfiguration. So before I give us room for question or end this section, I want to quickly do this. Now, when we are to create a new section, okay, now before that, let's assume we have done this spider check for an organization and we need the result. We want to analyze the result. We can go to export over here. Then when you export, it's going to give you the option to save it as a CSV file with the title. We can put the title, which is the name of the file, and let's say, for example, let's just put testing as the name of the file. Then the location is my document. Then I'm going to get a notification that the export has been done successfully. Now, if I go to my document, I can just quickly search for test.
We're not seeing your screen, sir.
So
We cannot see your
that's
screen.
it over here.
We cannot see your screen.
Oh, sorry. So I've been doing all of this demonstration to myself. So sorry. Oh, okay. Let me quickly share my screen again. Let me share my screen again. I'll quickly do that, then we round up for the day. So sorry. I have been doing all of this to myself, not knowing you've not been seeing that. So sorry. Okay. So, or better still, let me quickly share the entire screen. All right, that's it. So now let's assume we want to get this and analyze it, because when we look through this, there are a whole lot of information under these messages. Let's say the spider results now, we want to get it exported. We come to this place and click on export. So when we click on export, we can put the name of the file. I hope we can see my screen, please. I hope my screen is visible, please.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you. Now, okay, now you can see my screen. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so now you save with the name, the desired name, and click save. Choose the location where you want to save it. I'm not going to save this because I've saved one earlier. So I'm going to be showing us the one I have saved. I saved it in my document, and here is it, which can be opened in the Excel format. Then upon opening it, I can have access to this information, which I can further analyze to see if there are any vulnerability, any loopholes that can be prey upon. Uh, I'll also look at the error code, and all of that, examine it, and through it I could get further information that could assist me to further carry out checks or to know if there is any exploitation that can arise from this. So moving away from that, I'm going to go back to our ZAP application. Then let me quickly show us this. We have the section. Now I want to create a new section. If I click on create new section, it's going to inform me that I'm having some scanning message, some passive scanning message. I'm having some spidering that is being done and all of that. Do I want to stop it? So I'm going to click OK. Then after clicking OK, it's going to tell me that my current section has not been saved. So I could either click cancel and save it, or I could just go ahead and click OK to, click cancel, go and save, or go back, click OK and go back to a new section. So now I'm not going to be saving this section. Once I click on this new, I'm just going to click OK and OK, and it's going to take us back. It's going to clear all of this history. Then it's going to ask me if I still want to persist on this uh, moment in time. So I could either choose that, or I go back here to the first option or to any of these and save the project and begin a new project. But I could as well just go with the third option. Then after that, everything is gone. The site is gone. The history on the site is gone. Then we'll have this response also. I can uh, do away with them. So I have a whole lot of them. So let me just cancel and go back to the history. We see there's nothing on the history. Then I come to the quick start. Then on the quick start, now I just want to show us how to use the inbuilt browser. We have the option of either choosing the Mozilla or the Firefox. Then I'm going to go with the Firefox, and I'm going to pick one of those sites that I have shared with us on the chat room. Okay, let me see one of the ones I've not used before. Okay, I think I've used this. Okay, let me just use this. So I'm going to go back to my Zap application. I'm going to paste the URL here. I'm removing the uh, bracket that was copied with it. So now after putting my URL here, I'm going to click on launch browser. So now the inbuilt browser will pop up like this. Okay, I'm going to do that again. I'm getting this response. All right, if we're getting this response, we can just restart the section again, and so I'm going to be using one of these. So I'm going to come here to my Zap application, have this, then I'm going to click on launch. Then the inbuilt server is going to pop up. Okay, once we are having this kind of issue, you could change the browser and try launching again. Okay, I'm going to change back to Chrome. Then this time around, I'm going to try it again. All right, so most times if we are getting this kind of response, we need to restart the Zap application again, not restarting this section. That is shutting down the application, and we're going to start it all over again. But because of our time, I may not be restarting it because it's going to take some time also before it's going to come up. So I'm going to try it one more time. But if we are encounter with this type of error, we need to restart the Zap application, and once that is done, we can now query URL again, and it's going to work. So with this, I'm going to uh, have a pause for us to have question, and before we draw the curtain for this section. Please, can we drop our question on the chat room? If we have any question, we need any explanation. While we are doing that, I'm restarting the application to see if I could quickly show us that before the question period will be over. Any question, please? All right, Madam Edith, I think there's no question so far.
If you have any questions for the trainer, please um, just drop that in the chat room. Please just drop your questions, and you can go to the you can go through the chat room to fill up the attendance, and also I dropped a feedback form. So please endeavor to fill out the form so we can know how to serve you better. Mr. Amos, it was a really, really insightful class. It was really, really knowledge filled. We thank you so much. Please, when you're done filling out the feedback form, endeavor to just type done in the chat room, please. When you are done filling the form, please type done in the chat room. Please, can we do that real quick? When you're done, please just type done in the chat room. Please, I need responses in the chat room. Okay, done. Kenechukwu, thank you. I need more contributions. I need more done. Please, when you're done filling out the feedback form, just type done, please. All right. So with that, we come to an end of today's section. We hope to see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.